viewers, welcome to CEC Gurukul Lectures. In my last interaction with you, I had introduced you to the concept of chirality. That is, those molecules are chiral which are non-superimposable on their mirror images. For example, there are many types of DNA, but the DNA which is right-handed is active and biologically important. Similarly, you are also familiar with the drug thalidomide. That is, when this drug was given to expectant mothers to prevent morning sickness, it did its function, but nevertheless, the children who were born during early 60s were spastic. That is, they were physically deformed. So what was the reason for this deformity? They found on later studies that the thalidomide drug which was given to expectant mothers was a racemic mixture. That is, one component was preventing morning sickness, but the other was giving deformities to the children who were born. So we know that the compounds which are enantiomers, which are non-superimposable mirror images of each other, have same physical and chemical properties, but their biological activities are different. So, if we are using an enantiomer which exerts an adverse effect, it plays havoc. So, what is it that gives rise to chirality in a molecule? In my previous lecture, we discussed that it is an asymmetric carbon or a stereogenic carbon which makes a molecule optically active. That is, the two molecules are non-superimposable mirror images of each other, and such isomers are called enantiomers. Enantiomers is derived from a Greek word where enantio means opposite and meros means parts. So we know that if a compound has one chiral carbon, it will be optically active. But if a molecule has two or more chiral carbons, will the molecule be optically active? Let us discuss this further. There are certain exceptions, like, for example, compounds like mesotartaric acid have chiral carbons, yet they are optically inactive. On the contrary, some compounds do not have chiral carbons, yet are optically active. Example are substituted allenes and biphenyls. So, that means enantiomerism depends on whether a molecule is superimposable on its mirror image or not. If it is superimposable, the molecule is optically inactive. For example, mesotartaric acid. Otherwise, it is optically active. For example, 2,3-pentadiene, which is an example of allene, or a glucose molecule which has 4 chiral carbon atoms in it, but it does not have any element of symmetry. That is, it is non-superimposable on its mirror image. So it will exist in for pairs, that is 4 pairs of enantiomers. So that means to be chiral, molecule should have 2 conditions. That is, one, it should have a asymmetric carbon. That is, an asymmetric carbon is a carbon which is attached to 4 different groups. But we've already seen that in example of tartaric acid, that a carbon is attached to 4 different groups, but the molecule is optically inactive in spite of having chiral carbons in it. Whereas allenes, which we shall be discussing today in the lecture, do not have chiral carbons, but yet are optically active. That means the second condition, which is that for a molecule to be optically active, molecule should be dissymmetric. That is, it should not have any element of symmetry in it. That is, and the 4 elements of symmetry which a molecule can have, due to which it will be optically inactive, are plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, simple or proper axis of symmetry, and alternating or improper axis of symmetry. Now, what do we mean by symmetry? Symmetry is when a molecule is symmetrical or an object is symmetrical when a shape looks identical to its original shape after being flipped or turned. Supposing we are playing with a ball and we are tossing the ball from here to there. What we find that after every toss and turn, the shape of the ball is same, it does not change. And we know that most objects found in nature have symmetry. For example, flowers, diamonds, butterflies, snail shells, leaves, and so many other objects are all beautiful and highly symmetrical. So on your screens, I am showing you the structure of a flower. This flower has 5 lines of symmetry. That is, this is symmetrical. However you turn it, you will get the same structure. So we say that we can find out whether a flower or crystal or a molecule is said to have a symmetry if it has 2 or more orientations in the space that are indistinguishable. Let me take an example of alphabet A. So if we take A and we turn it round, we will have an image similar, we'll have a structure which is similar to the original structure. Now we flip it over again, we find that the structure is again similar, or it is indistinguishable from the original structure A. That means it is superimposable on its mirror image. So it has a symmetry element in it. So criteria for judging these are based on symmetry elements and symmetry operations. What I mean here is that if we have to find out that a particular molecule has an element of symmetry, we will first identify that symmetry element and then we will carry out some symmetry operations. For example, that we'll look at the image of the object in the mirror, and if it is superimposable, we will say this molecule has symmetry, and here the element of symmetry will be reflection. So we say, that means what do I mean by saying that a molecule has a symmetry element? It means a symmetry element is a geometrical entity such as a line or a plane or a point about which one can perform an operation of rotation, reflection or inversion, and we get back to the original structure, then we say that the molecule has a element of symmetry. So what is that symmetry operation which we will have to conduct on a particular molecule to find out whether the molecule has a symmetry element or not? So for this, what we do, we move a molecule or an object about an symmetry element. That means we move it around axis of symmetry or alternated axis of symmetry, and we see that the molecule that we get after performing the symmetry operation is resulting in a molecule which is having configuration which is indistinguishable from the original. If that is the case, we say molecule is symmetrical. So we say, what is a symmetry operation? We say a symmetry operation will transform a molecule into its equivalent or identical configuration. For example, if I take a structure of water molecule here, and we say that we imagine that an axis is passing through this oxygen atom, right, bisecting the water through this oxygen, and what we do is we rotate this molecule around this axis. So what we find that after 180 degrees we will get a similar structure, we will get an equivalent structure. So we say that after rotating this through an angle of 180 degrees, we are getting a structure which is equivalent to the original structure. So we say that this molecule has element of symmetry, and then if we revolve it by another 100 and rotate it by another 180 degrees, we will come back to the structure which will have identical configuration to the original structure. So we say that water molecule has element of symmetry and will be superimposable on its mirror image and will not be optically active. So now let me discuss all the symmetry elements one by one. So first is plane of symmetry, which is denoted by S or sigma. S is originated from a German word which means Spiegel. Spiegel is equivalent to mirror. So we call this plane of symmetry is also called mirror plane. So this is an imaginary plane which divides a molecule in such a way that one half of the molecule is the mirror image of the other. For example, again on your screens, I have shown you a structure of a tree, and if we cut this tree through the center, so this is having what? Plane of symmetry. And now if we superimpose this half on the other half, what we find that these two images are superimposable. That is, one half of tree is the mirror image of the other half. So that means this line or this plane which is cutting the tree into two equal halves is the plane of symmetry or the mirror plane. That is, when we look into the mirror, we will find that the image of the half, the original half, is superimposable. So that means the first half will be superimposable on its mirror, will be superimposable on its mirror image. And if we look at the mirror image of this also, we will find that it is superimposable on its mirror image. So we say that this molecule has plane of symmetry since it is dividing it into two equal halves which are mirror images of each other. Now when we talk of molecules, we can say we can have three planes. That is, a plane may pass through atoms, between atoms, or between atoms as well as through atoms. And a molecule will have at least, if it is having at least one plane of symmetry, it will be superimposable on its mirror image and will be achiral. That is, it will be optically inactive. So here I have shown you an example of tartaric acid, which in the beginning of the lecture I said that tartaric acid, that is the mesotartaric acid, is optically inactive in spite of having two chiral carbons here. What we find in this molecule, that it has two similar chiral carbons, and here we have represented the molecule by Fischer formula, and this, you know, the point of intersection is representing one chiral carbon and this is the other chiral carbon. And when we look at this chiral carbon, what we find, it is attached to four different groups, that is COOH, H, OH, and this is the fourth group. Similarly, for this chiral carbon, we have four groups, H, OH, COOH, and the fourth group. So what we find, to each chiral carbons, the substituent attached are similar. So that means this molecule, and if now we cut the molecule between the chiral carbons, what we find that one half of the molecule is superimposable on the other half. So that means the optical rotation due to one half is being cancelled out by the optical rotation by the other half, which will be in the opposite direction, because here the configuration is opposite, or it has a plane of symmetry, but the angle of rotation will be same because the groups present here are same. So angle of rotation is same, but the direction is opposite, so molecule is optically inactive in spite of having two chiral carbons, because there is element of symmetry, that is plane of symmetry. So let us look into some more examples where we have plane of symmetry. Here we have an internal plane of symmetry in cyclopropane. That is a plane, this is an isosceles triangle, and it is an equilateral triangle, and what we find that a line when drawn through chlorine and carbon, that is when it is drawn through atoms, it is dividing the cyclopropane molecule into two equal halves, so that one half is superimposable on the other half. Similarly, when we look into 1,3-dimethyl cyclohexane, here we find that there is a plane of symmetry which is passing through the atoms and also between the atoms. Also we had, here also the case was through the atoms and between the atoms. Sorry, here we had through the atoms and between the atoms. Here we have that the plane of symmetry is passing through the carbons here. So what we find that this is dividing, this plane of symmetry is dividing this molecule into two equal halves, so that one half is superimposable on the other half, and it has chiral carbons also in it. So this molecule is again optically inactive because it has plane of symmetry in it. Now we go on to the second structure. So now we know that if the molecule has a plane of symmetry, that is a plane which is dividing the molecule into two equal halves, such that one half is superimposable on the other half, that molecule will be optically inactive because one half is cancelling the optical rotation due to the other half. Now the second element of symmetry which can be present in the molecule is center of symmetry, or we say symmetry of inversion. So what we mean here is that, and this is indicated by I or Ci. So what we mean here is that if a line is drawn through a point in a molecule and we extend this line in both the direction, and this line then encounters equivalent points in either direction, the point through which the line is drawn is called a inversion center. So let me look here. Let us look at this card here, and what we find that when we look this card, what we find that this has a center of symmetry. What do I mean by here is it has a center of symmetry. This is a card of Queen of Diamonds. So what we find that when we are passing, we have a center of symmetry here, or the inversion point here, point of symmetry. That is when we draw a line from here and we extend the line on both the sides, that is this line is being extended on this side as well as this is being extended on this side. Similarly, when we join these two points here, again this line is passing through this point. We start a line from here, we take it to an equivalent point here on one side, and then we extend it on the other side. what we find that all these lines which are joining the identical points are intersecting at the center. And since they are intersecting at the center, this point is called as point of symmetry. Now let us apply this to the molecules. Now let us take another example here, in which this is the center of inversion. That is, we have two identical points here. This is one point and this is the other, that is 2 and 4. And now when we pass a line through this center, what we find that it is joining identical points here. Similarly, this line is joining, that is, we draw a line from here till here, center of the molecule, and then we extend it further on the other side. It is joining another point which is equivalent to this. Similarly, this line is joining two equivalent groups, and this distance from this distance here and this distance here is equivalent. Similarly, this distance here is equivalent to this distance is equivalent to this. So we say that this molecule is the center of symmetry. Now if we invert this molecule by 180 degrees, what we find that we will get a identical structure. So we say this point, the inversion, or that the what have we carried out? The operation that we have carried out here is the inversion operation, and this molecule has a center of symmetry. Similarly, now in other words, I can say that it is a point, the center of symmetry is a point at which all the straight lines joining identical points in the molecule will cross each other. This is the center of symmetry. That is the group, the line. If I look here into the example of 2,4 dimethyl 1,2 dicarboxylic cyclobutane, what we find in this structure that this has a center of symmetry. How? A line is drawn. If we draw a line from carboxylic acid to the center and then we extend it further to the other side, what we find here is that this is joining two identical groups, that is COOH, and these are equidistant from the center. Similarly, when we join the two methyls, again this line is passing through the center and these two groups are equidistant from the center. If we join these two hydrogens, we find a similar result, and here also the two hydrogens are equidistant from the center, and all the lines which are joining the identical groups are intersecting at the center, and these groups are equidistant from the center. So we say that this molecule has center of symmetry and will be optically inactive. What we find that if we look into the staggered conformation of the molecule, that is 2,3-dibromobutane, what we find that this molecule again will have center of symmetry. That is, if I join these two groups and then I join these two groups and we join these two groups, so this molecule again has center of symmetry. So in spite of having two chiral carbons, this molecule is optically inactive. And here when we look into mesotartric acid, here mesotartric acid has center of symmetry. That is, when we join OH to OH, H to H, COH to COH, all the lines joining identical points are intersecting at the center and the identical groups are equidistant. So what we find is that this molecule will also be optically inactive due to center of symmetry. Now here I have shown you a structure of a cyclic heterocyclic compound, and what we find that if we try to join this NH to NH, we can join this CO to this CO, we can join, but if we join this CH3 to this CH3 and this H to H, that means these lines are not intersecting at the center. So this molecule will be optically active. Whereas if we look into the same molecule and we make these groups trans to each other, so what we find here, that this molecule will have center of symmetry and this molecule will be optically inactive. So what we find, that if a molecule has a plane of symmetry or a center of symmetry, then in spite of having chiral carbons, it will be optically inactive because the molecule will be symmetrical, or we will get a symmetrical molecule after carrying out a particular operation, and it will be optically inactive. Thank you.